All right, thank you.
Thanks. So yeah, I'm new to Compass, but not new to real estate. Give you this slide, which is sort of the humble brag, right? I've been in real estate since 2002, won a number of awards, been on a couple of magazines. The most important part for this presentation, though, is I do teach AI at NAR, Calibri, Institute of Luxury Home Marketing, and with Rome Global. Spoken at a number of events outside of that as well. And so I'm here just to give you kind of a 10-minute tease of a 2-hour presentation that I'd like to get to at another time, which would be free, and would just come in the afternoon sometime. So let me just get a kind of a feel for the room first. Like who is comfortable with AI, or who's using AI right now?
Use ChatGPT.
ChatGPT. Who is uncomfortable with their use of AI? Like you're like, hey, I'm using it, but I don't really know what I'm doing. Gosh, you guys are awesome. Like I was on top of it. So I don't have to go through the basics of what AI is and all of that, but I am going to attempt today to teach you at least 3 things in this 10 minutes that make you say, hey, Rick, we want you to come back and teach us more. Is that fair? We'll get just kind of a little tease here. So the goal of AI, though, is really not to get bogged down in doing stuff. The goal is always to make more human connection, right? That's really where our business comes from. It's sitting across the kitchen table from the home seller, the home buyer, saying, hey, know me, like me, trust me, give me your business, trust me with this important decision in your life. What got me excited about AI in November of 23 when ChatGPT hit the scene was it was the first technology to really give us time back. Can you agree that YouTube and social media, email, texting, all of those things just suck more time out of our day? Right now we're all video producers. I've got a camera going here. I'm gonna have to edit that later. Like we've all got to have material coming out our pores. We've got to make endless amounts of content. And we're not supposed to be doing that because that's $5 an hour work. That's $10 an hour work if you outsource that to the Philippines, right? But our job as Compass agents is to do the $500 an hour work, which is $1 million GCI, and that's sitting across the table building that human relationship. So if we can save time and money, we can do that. So what I hope to do today, again, is give you those 3 things that say, hey, Rick, this was valuable enough in 10 minutes that we want you to come back and teach us for free for 2 hours some afternoon in August. So the first thing I'm going to say is, hey, don't buy any prompt packs. If you see like, oh, I've got 49 prompt packs for real estate agents, I've got a title company, mortgage, I've got the prompt packs. No, that's just garbage. Stop doing that. It's a waste of money. Because I'm going to teach you the Gobbledygook prompting method. And this might be new to you. It's new to a lot of my clients, which is that when you're prompting, and you all know what a prompt is, it's when you're chatting, when you're typing in right before you enter in ChatGPT or Gemini, all the different models, Grok, Bard, and you type in something and you say, hey, I want to create an email newsletter, and I'm trying to type to this person and blah blah blah, and you're going through and you're saying, okay, it used to be like a year ago. I need to know what I'm talking about, what my output is, what my tone is, who I'm writing to, what style it's going to be, all of that stuff, right? And your prompt to get like this long. Now what I want you to do is type in roughly what you want to do, the gobbledygook, and then go back to the beginning of that and say, please create a prompt that gobbledygook, and then hit enter. And what ChatGPT is smart enough to do now is it'll take all of your gobbledygook and it'll create that multi-layered 16-step prompt that you don't have to learn how to do. Good news, no longer got to be a prompt engineer. Bad news, those $150,000 that's gone. So they existed for about 6 months. But if you do that, you're going to find yourself having a much better prompt. And then you can actually just take that prompt, copy and paste it back in, and then run that prompt. The second thing I want you to do is say, on anything you're doing, let's say you're doing a CMA or you're doing a market report, or maybe you want to write an email newsletter. Say, hey, type in your gobbledygook, please create a prompt that, and then say, what else do you need to know about me and what I'm doing to serve me better, or to provide me better results? Because think about ChatGPT as being like a virtual person. If you were to bring Samantha in, sit her down, she's going to be your assistant. Don't you think it would help if she knew everything she had to do? But now pre-coffee, 4 hours of sleep coming home from Branson, Missouri, you might be thinking, hey, I don't have all the information. I did my best, but I'm not operating at my best right now. So I gave Samantha like 3 out of the 10 things she needs to know. And so Samantha's going to do the job of an elementary school person doing that job because she doesn't really know what she has to do. But if you ask ChatGPT, hey, what else do you need to know from me to do a job better? It'll ask you 5, 10 questions. And then say, what else? 5, 10 more questions. Now you've given it all the input it needs to do a PhD level job. But when I say PhD level, it is doing math at a PhD level. It's doing coding at a PhD level. It's outperforming MIT people. It's outperforming everybody in the world. So it is smarter than you and everybody you know, but you have to give it the information to be able to do that. So step number 2, what else do you need to know? And then step number 3 here, of those sort of the 3 things to bring me back, ask who are you trained on? So when I first got into ChatGPT, everybody saw these prompt hacks as like, act as a professional copywriter, act as a marketing specialist, act as a transaction coordinator. Well, that's great, because you narrow it down from the billions of possibilities that's going to do that day. But if I'm going to write a marketing newsletter, if I say act as a professional copywriter, what if it pulls up a copywriter that writes fiction books for kids? It doesn't know what kind of copywriter I want. So I'm going to say, well, I'm writing an email newsletter. Who are you and I'm writing to stimulate my audience to buy homes. Who are you trained on that does great email copy? And it'll show me 5 or 10 people ChatGPT is trained on. And then rather than me pick, because I don't know these 10 people, I don't know, maybe I do know, but let's say you don't know Russell Brunson or Dan Kennedy or David Ogilvy, which is likely going to pull up, then you say, who would you choose and why? And it's going to tell you, well, I choose this person for his direct campaign. I choose this person because of the captivating hooks, and this person for the way they're really close to action. Well, can you do a blend? Sure, I'd be happy to. Let's do this person for the call to action. Let's do this person for the body. Let's do this person for the hook. And now all of a sudden, you've got the most powerful copywriting blend that it knows how to create. And now you start crafting your newsletter, that thing's going to be bomber, right? As opposed to just act like some generic copywriter. So who are you trained on and why? And then step 4, which I didn't put in here, is just be endlessly curious. Tell me more about that. What else do you need to know? Chat with it. Act like you're a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old. Why? Why did you tell me that? Hey, can you verify that what you just said is true? Right? I did that this morning. I was analyzing a $400 million commercial deal. Then I ran the leases through and I ran all the financials through, but I'm not going to shoot that over to my client before I say, hey, verify your facts. Double check your work, triple check your work. Does this summary that you just gave me, copied it in, match up with this lease? And I was like, double check, recheck, free check, because it's still will hallucinate once in a while. It's still, doing the Rocky Mountain High, right? It's like, yeah, that was a great lease. And you're like, no, go, come back down to the ground, right? Be stable, check your work, sober up. And it goes, oh, sorry, my bad. And it'll actually say that sometimes, like, my bad, I totally made that up. And it goes back and recheck your work, right? So those 3 things right there will take you light years beyond what anybody else is doing or teaching. So let's take a listing description example. I think I read somewhere like NAR or Inman reported like 70% of real estate agents last year were using ChatGPT to write a listing description. And they're probably saying, act as a professional copywriter and write a listing description. Well, we just learned that's just junk. That's garbage. Throw it away. So what I want you to do is say, can you please create a prompt that will create a listing description? And it'll create a beautiful prompt. Then also say, who's my avatar? Who am I writing to? If your copy is one-to-many, it's not going to land well, right? But if you're writing one-to-one, if Mercedes is writing a luxury client, if Honda is writing a conservative, quality client, wants good value, they're going to resonate more with their audience. Same thing with your home. Can you please create a prompt that will create a buyer avatar for a $2 million home in Wash Park? And the prompt will say, what are their hopes, dreams, fears, desires, goals, objectives? What are their stumbling blocks in the past? And then you run that prompt, and you've got this beautiful description of somebody who might want to buy a home in Wash Park at $2 million. Well, now you take this listing description prompt, and you have ChatGPT actually interpret your photos. You can upload the photos. Let's say you went around on your interview, and you said, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, do you mind if I take a picture of these beautiful features of your home that I want to make sure we highlight? The built-in Gaggenau coffee maker, the quartz countertops, the waterfall, whatever it might be. So you upload those pictures, ChatGPT will read them for you. It'll write something better than like Brett Chef's Kitchen, which I'm tired of writing for 22 years. And it'll write that description based off those pictures, appealing to that specific persona. And now you're still going to, and you can make sure it doesn't violate fair housing guidelines and everything else. And you always, whether you're hiring a TC, whether you're hiring someone in the Philippines or locally, or using ChatGPT, you're always responsible for the work you hire out. So always read it, right? And make sure that it's not violating anything. But if you're writing that description using unique, colorful language, telling a story directly to the person who's most likely to buy that home in a way that doesn't violate fair housing, now you've got compelling copy. I have a client in San Francisco who's paying $500 a listing to get copy this good. And all of a sudden he's saving over, $1,000, $1,500 a month because he's writing his descriptions using this method. Does this make sense? And does he see how this, in 15 more seconds, takes it further than this? It's super, super simple, but it's these subtle little tweaks that you learn along the way that make a world of difference. So some of the things we cover in the 2-hour class is there are people who teach top down. And they say, here's a shiny object. Here's VO3. Let's go make videos, right? AI videos. They're super fun. Now they lip sync your voice and you can be, riding a gorilla, playing pickleball with a dolphin, right? There are crazy things you can do right now. But does that actually sell homes or solve your problems? Not necessarily. So what we do is we say, hey, what are your actual problems? And let's solve those with AI. And because I'm a realtor and have been since 2002, and because I've got hundreds of clients, I know email overwhelm, content creation, video editing, market analysis, email, phone verification, CRM optimization, task delegation, social media, repetitive tasks, scaling your personal touch, tool analysis. Hey, I just saw 15 new tools. What am I supposed to use? Client communication, lead magnets, free tool guides. All of these things are things you actually deal with that are time vampires for you. And if we go back to your time is worth $500 an hour, if you're spending 2 hours doing your social media content and you don't have to, that just cost you $1,000 in opportunity time while you're saving money because you didn't hire someone or because you didn't use AI to do it. So I really try to dial into my real world experience. 50% of my business still is real estate and 50% is coaching. And I bring that real world perspective as tools evolve, as ChatGPT evolves. We're about to release version 5 in August, which is going to be super exciting. I'm geeking out about it. But we solve real world problems. And then we also help you master the AI fundamentals. If you haven't already done so, setting up your account, writing in your voice without spending $49 on a how to write in your voice class. Custom GPT creation, anything you're going to do more than once, you should have a custom GPT built around it. Which model to use, like Perplexity or Gemini or Grok, ChatGPT, and why. Defining your avatar and refining your USP. And then we also do learn the fun stuff. So like this afternoon, I'm teaching a class on how to make videos of you at a convention with Bigfoot, or how to write your own music so you can have a soundtrack without copyright issues for your listing video. You can do all of that stuff with AI. So if you enjoyed this, either raise your hand now or go to Laura later and say, yeah, we'd like a 2-hour class on this. I'd like you to go deeper on some of these topics. Anybody game for that?
Good.
Yeah.
All right, cool. We have some good buy-in. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for.
Thanks, George. Thank you.
Do you have what teams? Can you put